Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. So, I guess this is sort of my prophetic address. Um, as we know, with this presidential election, that Donald Trump was named the president. And I, to be honest with you all, I am not, my celebration is not just for him, right? Because he's a person, and I do think and I do agree with people about, we have to be careful to not platform people too much. And I know that I have publicly come out since 2020 in my support of Donald Trump. And, I remember initially when I did that, I had a lot of people upset with me, a lot of people coming against me. And I did not have as thick of skin back then as I do now. And I think it's just comes with the past 4 years of growth and maturity and trusting in my ability to be able to hear from God about things. And I think then it was so far-fetched. It was so out of the norm for me that I could understand to a certain extent why people were so put off by it, right? But now it's been 4 years of me sharing words from God and sharing his heart about especially the state of America and his plans for America. I have been doing this the past 4 years. And I think what I feel today, if I really could sum it up, is I feel overwhelming gratefulness to God. And the reason why that is, like I said, if you have watched any of the videos that I have put up on this, any of my pages, right? Any of my channels, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, if you have watched, listened to any prophetic video, prophetic revelation that I've put out, all of it has, majority of it has talked about God's feelings towards America and his sadness, his grief, and his overwhelming mercy that he has for this country. And the gratefulness that I have is that God is giving us more time, more grace, and more mercy. And that is what this win represents. And I know a lot of people will disagree with that. And I'm okay with you disagreeing with me. I'm totally fine with that. And I don't think anything different of you. If anything, I pray for people, especially people that disagree with me, because I realize that you don't see things the way that I see it. I don't see things the way that you see it, right? And God brings things to me. God has, woken me up to many different things that he may not have, you may not have had that same awakening. So I get that it's a process. I totally get that. And my prayer is that you will receive revelation from God, that God will talk to you and show you the matters of his heart. And that was something that I prayed early in 2020, right? Just kind of giving a prologue to how I ended up here. But if you don't already know, but I prayed specifically in, early 2020 for God to show me the truth. And I prayed that with every fiber of my being, because I was just sensing that something's not right. Something's missing within me. I don't think I'm getting the full picture of what's going on, in my life, in my country, around me, and I had a desire to be closer to God. I had a desire to see things from his perspective and not my own, not just focus on the way I'm seeing stuff and dealing with things. So I prayed that prayer, and from that day on, that's when I began to hear from God in more of a prophetic way and get into visions and the prophetic words and all of that. Like that is the moment when it changed for me. And ever since then, that has been my life. So this has been my life, right? And now it's pretty much normal for me, but back then it was not. It was a whirlwind. I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand the stuff I was seeing. I didn't understand nothing. And I'm giving this stuff out and I barely get what's happening. I'm like, Lord, I'm still waking up. What are you saying to me? But I'm really saying all of that to say that I'm filled with gratefulness that God has given America more mercy when so much has been done, so much has happened. Us as a country, we have not been serving God. We have, not been for him. And I'm saying as a whole, as the country as a whole has just not been for God. So we did not deserve this. We just didn't. We didn't deserve it, y'all. So whatever side you're on, realize that now it's not about whether you're Democrat or Republican now, but now you are on the side of history where God's mercy is shining on you right now. You are living in the day of his mercy right now. Whether you agree with Donald Trump winning or not, you are on the side of history of God's mercy for you and his true, deep, heartfelt love for you. And this happening is saying that I'm giving them more time. Because the reason that he brought this to me, and I shared it a little bit some months ago about God saying within the next 5 years that there will be many people that wake up. There are many people who are being drawn to his heart that are very unlikely people that we would never expect to come to God, to be on fire for God. These are the people that are coming up out of the ashes because of the things that they've seen happen in this country, because of the darkness that we have had to live in. And they have been, begun to see it and say, no, like this is not it. So God is using unlikely people. I'm sorry to say, he is not using the stereotypical Christian. He's not using a stereotypical Christian. He's just not. And the reason why that is because a lot of us have been half-hearted with him. We've been half-hearted, and I say this with so much compassion, right? We just haven't been dedicated to God. We have not. We have been half-hearted. We've been lukewarm. And I'm saying as a whole, the Christian body in America has been lukewarm, half-hearted. And the people that you see being truly on fire for God, they are the most unlikely people that you never would have expected. Those are the people that God is using today. Because they have nothing to lose. They realize, I have nothing to lose. And I've seen the darkness and I don't want any part of it. So I choose God. So this is what this represents to me. Is that, man, God loves us so much. And maybe, if you're looking at this, you don't understand the extent of God's love for you. And my prayer is that you begin to ask for God to show himself to you, that you will understand the extent of his love for you and every area of your life where he gives you the utmost grace and mercy, where you don't deserve it. We did not deserve this. We did not. I'm just going to be honest. We didn't deserve this. We did not. But God has a plan, right? And he always has a plan. He is never not calculated. He is never not planned out and know what he wants to do. He always has a plan. But it's about us getting in alignment with his plan, not our own, right? And I think a lot of us have been on our own program, and that's why it's hard to discern when you are on your own program and doing things for your benefit You miss the voice of God in your life. You miss where he is telling you, I want you to do this. I don't want you to do that. We lose and we lack discernment when we are too sensual, when we are full of ourselves, when we become self-righteous, like I'm all knowing, I know everything. We can't be like that. And I've been those things. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not sitting here a perfect person that has never done anything wrong. You know, and I can come out and say, man, I messed up here. You know, I didn't used to be able to do that, but now I can, because I'm like, you know, God, I need you. I need you every day. I need you every day of my life. So that's what I wanted to share. You know, do not take for granted being in the mercy and the grace of God, because that's where you are right now. Even if you don't think that that's the case, we don't have to always agree with God. We don't. I may not always agree, you know, with something that God tells me to do, but that doesn't make it less so. It doesn't make it less true. It doesn't make it less beneficial to my life and to my spiritual growth, right? That's why we're here. We're here to glorify God. We're here to serve him. So I pray this encourages you. And, you know, and like I said, I am not here to troll or anything, because I'm not here to gloat or do anything like that. You know, like I said, Lord, I just say, Lord, I thank you, because you haven't given up on America yet. And with all that I've heard and seen in visions and things like that, this is a miracle right now for me. Maybe for other people, it's a miracle because I'm seeing it from that end. You know, and I pray that God reaches your heart in the way that works, you know, in the way that he can reach you. That's my prayer. That during the next few years of your life, that you will come out a different person. Because I think the worst thing is going through each and every year and not growing in knowledge, and not just worldly knowledge, right? Not just reading books and going to school and getting degrees, but spiritual knowledge. Like, if we don't grow in spiritual knowledge, we're not growing. Spiritual knowledge is way, way, way more important than worldly knowledge. We can get all of the degrees in the world, but if we are spiritually illiterate, we're not going to make it, because we're spiritual beings. This flesh is going to die. And that's why that's why we get older. That's why we age. Because the flesh it's a shell. And what's really important is the spirit inside of that shell. So we have to nurture our spirit, which lives on. And we nurture it by following God, following our Creator that put us on this earth. And we ask him, Lord, what do you want me to do with my life? How have you called me to live my life? Lord, help me to nourish my spirit every single day, not just nourish my body, right? When we eat and we say grace, we say, Lord, bless this food for the nourishment of our body. How about, Lord, bless this food for the nourishment of my spirit? How about we switch it up? We need nourishment for our spirit. And I can go so deep with this. It's so much I can go into, but I don't want to get off track. That'll probably be another video for another day. But all in all, I am grateful for the mercy of God. And I pray that you experience his mercy. No matter who you voted for, I still love you. I may not agree with everything, and we're not going to agree with each other. That's okay. But I can still love you because you came from God. And that's why I love you. And we're all connected. And I pray that one day we will all come together under God. And maybe that's something that I won't see in this life. Most likely not. But it's a good prayer to have. But for today, I just want to live and bask in the mercy and the grace of God, because that's where we are protected. That's where we want to be. So I encourage you to keep praying. Keep praying for God to open your eyes. Lord, show me what I'm missing. What have I been too focused on that I can't hear you, that I can't see you? Because many of us can't hear or see God. Because if we did, life will look different. And I know from experience, because my life has radically changed. Who I was before God opened my eyes, I don't even know that person. I don't know who she is. I look at old pictures and I'm like, who is that? I don't know who that is. So when God opens your eyes, life is different. It's different. So once again, I love you all. I encourage you. I pray that you respect each other. And that's what God wants. He doesn't want us to gloat in each other's faces. He doesn't want us to slander and curse each other. That does not honor God. We don't need to do that, y'all. We can gracefully be disappointed. It's okay to be disappointed. Process that. If you need to go to a therapist, go to a therapist. I'm a therapist, so of course I'm going to say go to a therapist. If you need to go process that with a therapist, please do. And process it with God. Process it with people that you know and you love. But don't disrespect each other. All right? Love you guys. I will talk to you soon.